Erling Haaland was born in Leeds in 2000 when his father was on the books of Leeds United. Erling Haaland had moved to England 7 years earlier after working his way up through the ranks at local club Brine. Just 3 years after Erling was born, Erling was forced to retire from football aged 30 with injury problems. He was famously on the receiving end of a ruthless Roy Keane tackle that injured his right knee, but he had existing problems with his left knee unrelated to the Manchester United midfielder's red card incident. With his top-level career over, Erling decided to return home to Norway with his family. While Haaland Sr. left football behind to become a property developer back home, he encouraged his son to play the sport he loved, with Erling following in his father's footsteps to join Brine's youth academy. Coach Erling V. Berntsen was immediately impressed with his club's hard-working new recruit, who played in attack rather than in defense or midfield like Erling had during his career with the likes of Nottingham Forest, Leeds and Manchester City. "I saw Erling for the first time when he was 5 when he joined indoor training with a group 1 year older," Berntsen told Goal. His first 2 touches led to goals. "He was very, very good from the first moment, even though he hadn't played in the club before. He started playing in his own year group, but because he was so much better than the others, we immediately pulled him up to under 6. In 2005 the club built a grass-covered indoor soccer pitch that was always open during the weekends. Erling and around 20 others always met there on weekends and played for hours. He was a little smaller than his opponents because he was a year younger. But even if his opponent was significantly taller, he kept scoring goals. When he was 11 or 12, we knew he would go far. We already knew back then that he had what it takes to be a youth international." Haaland's first taste of international football was with Norway's under-15 side, during the 2015-16 season, where he had impressed for Brine's reserve side with 18 goals in 14 games. With the Norway setup, his path crossed with Gunnar Halli, who had been a teammate of his father at Leeds back in the late 1990s. Halli liked what Haaland could offer in attack, but felt that his gangly physique might prevent him from reaching the very top. "The first time I saw Haaland playing football was at the age of 15. At that time he was quite small and narrow before his growth spurt and physically at a disadvantage," Halli told Goal. "He was without a doubt a good player who scored many goals, but was by no means outstanding. His physique and coordination still had to develop at that time. That he would one day become a superstar was still a long way off. No one could have imagined what he would one day be capable of. Today he benefits from the fact that he had to learn to read a game back then because he was not as assertive as he is today." Goat Larsson was sacked as Brine manager and Berntsen was promoted to caretaker boss. Having worked closely with him at underage, the interim manager handed Haaland his first start despite the forward being just 15 years old. After initially deploying Haaland on the wing, Berntsen put him in his favored central role after a few games. Although he did not score in his breakthrough season at Brine, Haaland was offered a trial by Hoffenheim before moving to Molde to play under Norwegian legend Ole Gunnar Solskjær. Berntsen was not surprised by the transfer as Haaland had come onto the radar of many clubs by playing senior football at 15. Molde was somewhere where Haaland could break into the first team quickly and ensure smooth progress for his career. National and international scouting only began when Erling played the first games for Norway's U15 side. From this age, scouts suddenly became more interested because he also scored in the national jersey, Berntsen continued. He just didn't care who was watching. He didn't care whether he played against his friends just for fun or for the national team. He was never afraid. He always had respect for his opponents, he just never cared who they were. Switching to Molde was not a big deal, it was a normal process. He was just too good for the team. The next logical step was Molde.